Hello everybody, Janet Urban here, founder of Friends in Film. Welcome to our podcast. The purpose of this podcast is to give you insights that you will not learn anywhere, not in film school, not online, not from anybody. Even people on film sets will not know what I'm teaching you because we have studied how to go very fast into the film industry and create a career out of it. And that is what this podcast is about, and that is what the A-List program is about, which is our main flagship program that all these people all over the world are doing to work in the film industry. So enjoy today's podcast, and thank you so much for listening. Today's topic is how passion projects, shooting your own film, is one of the worst things you can do if you want to become a director for the film industry. Now, the reason why this is because most of us are shooting passion projects when we are not working on film sets. We're shooting passion projects in order to hopefully be able to get on a film set. And that is the problem, because you're shooting passion projects from the outside. And what you're doing is you're creating films with very little budget. Like, you don't have $15,000 budget. You don't have multiple cameras. You don't have the tools that you need to make it amazing. You probably don't have an amazing script that tells a story that creates tension, that has characters that people start to care about. You're probably more looking at it like practice or something that, you hope is going to be your calling card. But the problem is that you simply don't get enough experience working on your passion project. You need to have a lot more experience in order to create something that's really great. And how you can get that experience is by getting on film sets and being around it all the time, consistently every single week, and working in the business and working around cameras and working with the lighting and getting your hands on cameras and the lighting and the sound and being right there and watching people that are paid to do it, paid directors, paid producers, to see how they actually make films. So this will give you so much resources and knowledge and ability to now make a really good film. See, you're going to be making passion projects for your entire career. But do it once you are working on film sets, and then plan that you're going to be making a ton of passion projects, because you're going to have ideas for scripts. You're going to be meeting new people that are going to ask you to direct maybe lower budget stuff for social, different kinds of things, and your own ideas and your own stories. And you're going to be able to really do it and create something that is usable, that is useful once you are in the film business. When you are outside the business making your films, in order to get seen by people inside the business, it doesn't work because nobody is looking outside the business. That's the biggest problem with it. Because you're spending some of the best years of your life that you should be on film sets working and gaining that experience, and instead you're outside doing a retail job, a government job, another job because you have to make money, you got to pay the bills, and then you're working on your film, which is your passion, which is what you love to do. And you're thinking that film is somehow going to lead you into the professional film industry. But the word is somehow. The word somehow is really messing you up because you don't know how. And in fact, there are millions of films that are made all the time. Like, they're being shot all the time, all around us by amateur filmmakers, and they don't go anywhere. There's an entire business of film festivals that just cater to people that want to submit their short to be compete against each other in these little film festivals. But the problem is that nobody goes to these film festivals. Nobody goes and looks for ideas there, because they have tons of ideas around them already on professional sets. So film festivals are there for the film festival business. They're there to provide a business service for amateur filmmakers that want to make films and have them be out there and have their friends and their family show up and have something that they're proud of. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you're only doing that and you're not working on film sets, that's the problem, because the small film festivals are not being seen, they're not looked at, and that's not the film industry. That's the film festival business. You want to get into the film industry, and you want to make films that are seen by production companies. All right? So the outlet for amateurs is small little film festivals. The outlet for professionals is production companies and the big film festivals like Sundance and Cannes and Tribeca. But if you notice, Sundance and Cannes and Tribeca, Those films are all shot by people that are in the business, that are on film sets consistently, that are connected and have access to money. And that stuff is pretty damn good because it's got the talent, it's got the money, it's got the story, it's got the writers, it's got the promotion. And it's shot by professionals, which means it has good sound, it has good lighting, it's got effects, it's got multiple cameras, it's probably got techno cranes. It's at that level. If you're outside the business making your own films, I suggest that you get inside the business, start working on film sets every single week and meet other professionals and start to collaborate with them and then shoot your passion projects. It will make a world of difference when you are like film is your life and you are paid on film sets. It is your life and it's what you do for a living. And then in addition to that, you're always working on your own projects. So what's behind all this? What would be the thing that you might say to me, Janet, I'd love to do that, but I can't. So why can't you? Let's think of some of these reasons why you're like, I just want to shoot my own film and I hope that it's somehow going to get take off some way. Remember, somehow is the word that is killing you. It's ruining your life. Because if you don't know how it's going to be seen, then it's not going to be seen because nobody is looking for it at these little film festivals. And no professional wants to look at these little films because they're interested in the stuff that they've worked on, that production companies have seen, that's done by their friends, their professional friends. So you really have to get into the tribe that you want to be successful in. And you have to understand the business that you want to be successful in by working in it. So what are some reasons why you wouldn't want to do that? Well, I really think it just boils down to fear. Because if you knew that you would be successful in the film industry, you would certainly go do it. It would not be a hobby for you anymore where you're making the little films. Like you would leave the job that you have today and you go work in the film industry. So you can't say that you don't know how to do this because this is exactly what I teach. I teach people how to work in the film industry and create careers, get jobs in these crafts, in camera and lighting and sound and hair and makeup, production design, directing, producing, stunts, special effects, special visual effects, voiceover, all of the crafts. Those crafts are the ones that give you the great life because they pay really well. And the crafts are the ones that they travel around the world. You know, when they have the crews, they'll pick up locals to work as production assistants, but they'll travel the main crafts. They're going to travel the main people. And it's the best life because you make great money and you get to do what you love. Nobody's getting into the business to work as a production assistant. Everybody's getting into the business to be able to do a craft that they like to do, that they get to look at the storyboards and go, oh, this is what I need to do in order to get ready for this scene. And then they implement the scene and then they move on to the next scene. Then they look at what they're going to do next week and what scenes they need to shoot and how they need to get prepared and how they're going to do their craft. It's so fun. My point is to keep people from being miserable outside the business, spending it's not even the money that they're spending because they're not spending that much money on these little films. They're spending their life. They're spending the most valuable asset that they have, which is their time. Even 6 months. If you wait 6 months to get into the business, the competition in the film industry has increased dramatically every single day. If you wait a year, now the competition is even higher. If you wait 5 years, every single year, every single day, every single month, more and more people want to work in this business. More and more people come out of film school. There's more media studies classes. There's more broadcasting. There's more of everything that people want to study. Everybody wants to work in the film industry. Everybody wants to be a screenwriter. Everybody wants to be an actor. So, of course, there's going to be plenty of colleges and classes that are going to be able to make money off of the people that want to work in the film industry. Oh, they'll teach you, for sure. But what people do not teach you is what I teach you, and that is how to get the work. Nobody wants to even touch. How do you get the work? My purpose in life is to tell you, don't get into debt with all of these classes and making your own films and spending years of your life trying to get good enough to get in the business. First, we just get in the business. We get in the door. We start working on these sets. Now, I'm not going to take this episode to explain the process because I've explained it many times, and you can always sign up and hear the whole process that I teach my people. Again, you can go to friendsinfilm.com/join, and you can sign up, and then you can find out about the craft certification program and do it if you want to. That process gets you working in the film industry, working every week on film sets and moving into a craft. It's fear that makes people not quit their job and decide that they're going to get into the film industry. Because if they knew that they would be successful, they'd have quit that job already and they'd be on these film sets and then they'd be making their films from there. Is there another thing that could be preventing them? Oh, here's another one. They think that it's so hard to get into the business. Now, I just said that there's a lot of competition and it grows every single day. But even though that is the case, if you believe that it's hard and you make it impossible in your mind, you're not even going to try. So thinking that it's so hard doesn't really serve you. Thinking that you're up to the game, now that serves you. Thinking that this is what you want to do with your life, that serves you. Despite it being hard, despite it being competitive, despite it being like more and more people wanting to work in it. So if this is something that you want to do, then let's go do it. Because a lot of people will not have the tenacity to keep going. They won't have the perseverance. But if you know that you do, then okay, let's go. And then you'd probably be doing my program and using it to get in the film industry. Okay, so what if you're like, oh, I don't know if I can do this because I have children. So what if you say, well, I have children. That's why I can't get into the film industry and break in and start working every week on set. It's not because I'm afraid, it's because I have children and I have to look out for them. And I want to tell you that probably 80 to 90% of the people in the film industry have children. They have newborns. They have children that have autism and all sorts of different situations. They have aging parents. They have situations just like everybody else. This is life. And whether you work on a film set or you work in a corporate job, you're going to have life happening. You're going to get married, you're going to have kids, you're going to have deaths, you're going to have things that you have to solve for. You're going to have problems that occur. So it's not a problem that you have kids. It's great because when you get on film sets, you're going to be around other people that have kids as well. And you're going to be able to talk about the schools and the classes and the kids and what they're doing and how you're saving for college, all of that stuff. So you will relate really well with people. If you have newborns, you'll be talking about your newborns. I've seen people on set pumping milk at lunchtime. This is normal life. This is film sets. Yes, it is a 10-hour day, but you plan for it. You want to work in this business or not. It's awesome to be able to work for 12 hours and make that money. And then work only maybe 3 days a week and get paid more for 5 than you make in 5 days. So that's the reason why we love the film industry. It's not a detriment that, oh my gosh, I'll never see my family. It's actually the opposite. You'll see your family more often. When you work, yes, you're doing 10 to 12-hour days, maybe even 14-hour days. Usually it's not over that. That's a long day, 14-hour day. I really don't even hardly do 12-hour days. Usually it's 10-hour days. But anyway, the reason why we love the film industry is because we make a lot of money when we work. And then we have a lot of days that are free. And we're only making money when we do work. So we have high day rates. So what's typical is working 2 to 3 days in a week and making really great money, making like $650 for 12 hours of work per day. So that's around $9,000 a month. And that's working 15 days in a month. That's like part-time. So that's really awesome. Yes, it's condensed when you're there, but that's a lot of free time that you have. And then, of course, I always remind everybody here that the great thing about the film industry is you go to film sets and you come home and you forget about it. Meaning, I don't have to think about a quota or problems at work or personalities at work. I'm done with the job and I move on. It's awesome. I don't have to think about quotas. I don't have to think about, am I going to make my numbers next year? Man, I use that as an example because I was in sales and I had a copier. I had a quota. I sold copy machines. And I swear I would have nightmares about this quota for years, even after I was not even, that was not my life anymore, thank goodness. But it does drag you down. Most jobs do drag you down. The great thing about film sets is you do them, they're great, they're awesome, you see your friends, you get to do the creative job, you get paid well, and then poof, you're done. Next job. You don't even think about it. So that's great. So what else would prevent you and make you think that you need to work on your film instead of working on film sets? What else would be there? Possibly that your job is pretty good. Like maybe you're doing IT. and it's a pretty good job. Like maybe you're making $70,000, $80,000, $90,000 a year doing IT, and it took you a while to get there. Yeah, maybe you studied film, but it didn't work out for you when you started, so you got an IT job, and now it's pretty good, and a lot of people count on you, and you might have a family, and it's like, okay, how do I then now transition over into the film industry? Now, this is not like oh yeah, no problem, just go do it. It'll work out great. This is something that you decide, you know what? Do I actually want to work in the film industry? Do I want that to be my daily experience? And if it is, then you are definitely going to want to get on these film sets and start learning your stuff. You're definitely good. There's just no other way, because nobody is going to look at your film and go, you're amazing. Come into the film industry and direct this next $1 million feature film. It's just never going to happen. So you're being delusional. They will give that feature film to people around them on film sets. You simply have to go where the stuff is happening. You've got to be in that environment. So the question is what is your priority? Do you want it bad enough? I mean, I know that it's like, oh man, I do want it, but what if it doesn't happen for me? Well, it's not happening for you now. So moving into the film industry and building that thing up, I mean, at least you're working on film sets and you're meeting people and you're learning what you want to do. Maybe you won't be a director. Maybe you're going to end up working as an assistant camera, which is an amazing job. Or maybe it's going to be as a production designer or an art director or maybe a gaffer. I mean, you might not decide that you're going to be a director, even though that's what you're thinking right now from outside the business doing IT. You might want to become a sound mixer. There are so many great jobs that pay really well, that give you a great life, that give you that film lifestyle experience. Now, is it easy? It's not going to be easy. I'd also say that it's not really hard either. It's just what you have to do. It's more like where you are. If you really want to do this, you're not going to be going like, is this hard or easy? You're going to be going like, this is what I really want to do. This is where I want to spend all of my mental energy and all my thoughts, and I want to be there. So if you have a lot of expenses in your life because you have now this high income and you're breaking even on all your expenses, and you're making $80,000 a year, yeah, you're going to have to solve that problem. Which is a good problem to have, really. You're in the modern world making great money in the business, but you also have bought an expensive car, an expensive house, and you're living the dream, really. So now you're like, oh, I can't get in the film industry. Yes, you can. You can. You're going to have to adjust some things in your life so that you can start, and because your income in your first year is probably going to be around $50,000, $60,000 a year. So you're going to have an income drop of possibly maybe $10,000, $20,000. That's to be expected. I bet that's the case if you moved into any industry. If you went from IT into almost any industry, you're going to have a drop, because where you're at today was from 10 years of moving up. And now you're getting into the industry and you got to learn your shit. You got to get on these sets and learn your shit. So you're going to be making around probably $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 a year. But so what? The next year you can be up to 80. The great thing about being a professional and being used to making that kind of money is that you're a professional person, you're used to success, you're used to talking with people, and now you have a great attitude that now you can apply it towards the film industry. Like, that's just a business too. So you're just going to come in with already having this entrepreneurial, successful-minded, problem-solving attitude. And that's exactly what we love to have in the film industry. And as soon as you are ready to do a job because you've shown interest in it and you're there on set and you're working in that department, as soon as you're ready to do it, people will give you that job. They'll give you opportunities to learn that job and to do that job. Now, the opportunities that they give you might be smaller budget stuff, but so what? That's perfect. That's exactly where you should be. You got to start somewhere and you got to learn on stuff that's appropriate for you. So my main point for everybody here is just to make it very clear that shooting films from outside the business is never going to get you directing jobs. It's never going to get Lionsgate calling you for work. It's never going to get Warner Brothers offering you a contract to direct. You've got to get inside the business, work on film sets, and then do your films once you're on these sets. Because then you can show it to the right people. And you will also have other professionals working on it, so it will actually turn out well. And you'll have other people that are interested in it and promoting it because they worked on that too. You'll have other professionals that want to work on your project because they want to get that credit. They want to get that experience. They care and they like you. So you have all of that working for you. You have to get inside. Film sets are like a filtration process. I know you've heard me say this, but that's the case. If you're inside working on sets, you are through the filtration process and you will be considered for opportunities because you're there. You're a professional working in the film industry, no matter what your position. But if you're not even on film sets, if you're outside the business, you're not going to be considered for anything. So no problem. Get onto these Netflix level sets and start learning and build this career. You can do it. You want to do it. You're hungry to do it. You'll be like a kid in a candy store on these sets. So really, it just boils down to courage. It boils down to a decision that I've already been successful in my life outside the business. And I maybe you've made some films and you're like, you love the films that you've made. And you're like, this is how I know that I want to be in the film industry. Perfect. That's great. Now it's time to get on these sets and start really learning your shit and learning all the stuff that you were not even aware that you needed to know. Start meeting the people that can work on your next project to get your name out there for real. Get your stuff in with production companies and get your films into Tribeca and Sundance, where people, the real people, actually see it and are interested in it, and opportunities can come from that. Absolutely, but you have to do it as a professional. And you have to be a professional, act like a professional. What do they say? You can put lipstick on a pig, but it's still a pig. Now, what that means to me is that you can act like you are a filmmaker, but if you're not, everybody can tell that. They can tell that you're not. So if you are a filmmaker, and you're a professional filmmaker, you're going to have Netflix and MTV, and you're going to have worked on tons of sets, and you're going to know tons of people, and you'll have lots of names flowing out of you that you know. These people know you. They're your friends. This is what you do for a living. So you've got to get into that space and now make your most amazing projects, and now you'll be able to get those directing jobs. If you're good enough, by the way, the projects have to be good. They've got to have all of the elements that when people judge it, that it is really good. Like they're good enough to win awards. It's telling the story in a way that it's like, wow, that's money. I can use that. Other celebrities can get involved in something like that because that is just a really great story. It's told really well, and it's an important topic, and people can get behind it. Your best ideas you have not had yet. You have not developed into that professional yet, but you can. You certainly can. And maybe you're going to use your life to do that. Maybe. I hope that you will, because like I tell everybody that comes to all my calls, you are the future of the film industry. People leave the industry. They get older and they don't want to go to this physical job on a film set. They don't want to get up at 4:30 in the morning and be there till 6:30 at night. They leave the business. So new people come in. So you are the future. So will you step into that? Don't be delusional. Become a professional. Learn your shit. Okay, thank you so much, everybody. I appreciate you so much, and I know you can be successful. You are the future of the film industry. You've got to see yourself as a professional and start making those moves. Thanks, everybody. Talk to you guys later. Thanks so much for listening. And if you want to take your career to the next level in the film industry, go to friendsinfilm.com/join. That's friendsinfilm.com/join. You can sign up for our mini course, learn about the A-list model, and then you can take it all the way and do the A-list program. So that's friendsinfilm.com/join. Thanks so much for listening. Have a great day, everybody.